All right, so we're gonna dig into this nutritional aspect of our training, and I just want to, keep this very basic. So if you see here, we have proteins, fat, and carbs are equal to calories, right? Because I always hear a lot of people talk to me about like, I thought carbs and calories are the same things. Well, it just depends on how you look at it, so if you can see that the total calories is the overall goal at the end, it's made up of proteins, fat, and carbs. So when you talk about calories, a carb is always going to be a calorie, a fat is always going to be a calorie, a protein is always going to be a calorie. But calories isn't necessarily always going to be carbs or fats or protein. Does that make sense? So you can go one way, but it can't go the other way. And I feel like a lot of people get mixed up with this idea, where they take out like all of the carbs, because that's like something a lot of Hmong people's been doing, where they take out all the rice, and I feel like that's very dangerous. So unless you kind of know what you're doing, or if you're like going to be a high level athlete and you are aware of what you're doing with your diet, don't try to do too much with your diet. And if you're just going into the gym, trying to gain some muscle, lose some fat here and there, just keep your diet very simple. Unless you're like a bodybuilder trying to go on a show, keep your diet very simple, okay? And we'll dig more into that as I continue to go into this video, okay? All right, so to continue on, every gram of carbohydrate, so let's say like you're eating like a gram of rice, right? It's gonna equal out to be 4 calories. The same thing is also true for protein. Every gram of protein is gonna equate to about 4 calories, right? But for fats is a little different. 1 gram of fat is gonna be 9 calories, which is why you always hear dietitians recommend you lower the fat content and increase the carb and protein, for the simple fact that for every 1 gram that you get rid of for fats, it's almost a little bit more than double of what carbs and protein is. Does that make sense? So when you think about taking out all of the carbs or all of the rice, or let's just continue with the carbs out of your diet, you're only able to manipulate your protein and your fats. So if you're not like a bodybuilder, or like a specific athlete, and you're just going into the gym, it's a lot easier to manipulate your fats, right, which is the blue column, to reach your goals, because for every 1 gram that you don't eat, that's a little bit more than double if you take out fats versus carbs. Does that make sense? So I want to continue on with the carbs, right? Carbs is your main source of energy. Protein is kind of like your recovery, or it helps heal, right? And then your fats is kind of like energy storage and stuff like that. So in order for you to have a successful workout, you want to have a lot of carbs, which is why I think it's kind of funny when you hear people trying to lose weight, get rid of all their carbs, but then again, what's going to happen with their energy level when they get into the gym is kind of counterproductive, right? So what I usually tell people is just to control the portions that you eat over getting rid of all of one element. Everything in excess is bad, and having not enough of something is also bad. So you don't want to think of it as, I want to get rid of one entire thing. You just want to think of it as a way of, which one of these elements can I get rid of, and it'll be easier mentally, physically, emotionally, and take that one little element and control and lower that, right? Along with keeping everything else the same. Okay? All right, so now that you have a better idea of what calories is and how proteins, fat, and carbs kind of make up calories, I just kind of want to go into what I like to call like balance. You want to be very well balanced in terms of what you eat and how you exercise. So you want to think of everything not on a daily basis, but on a weekly basis. So you want to count how many calories you eat per day and how much it equals out per week, and how much your body naturally burns calories, along with what type of exercises that you burn per day, to see if you are burning more than you're bringing in. Now, if you want to lose weight, then just make sure your body and the exercises that you do burn out more than how much you eat and how much you drink. And honestly, that is the simplest way to lose weight. Don't try to complicate it unless you want to make it more complicated, or unless you kind of know what you're doing. So that's pretty much it for basic nutrition.